Coming up tonight on Patriots Unfiltered on TV, the battle for first in the AFC East. Josh Allen and the Bills prevent the Patriots from crowning their way to the title. Also tonight, how the Bills' return game helps set up the comeback. And later, not good enough or just a little too injured. Trash Talk debates the Patriots' defense.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Hand off, Cook runs through the middle. He's got a touchdown. He ran right past the Patriots defensive front.
When we had an opportunity to make a play, we weren't able to make it.
Josh Allen and the Bills send a message. Don't forget about us. They roar back and erase a 3-touchdown lead to beat the Patriots.
New England had won 104 consecutive home games when leading by 21 or more. That streak came crashing down in a frustrating loss to the Bills. Hello again, everyone. I'm Alex Francisco, and this is Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
This was a game filled with highs and lows for the Patriots. But how will this loss impact the rest of the regular season? Let's kick it off and huddle up with Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault.
The first quarter and much of the second went as well as you could have imagined for Drake May and the Patriots. But in the second half, they went cold as the Bills put together 5 consecutive touchdown drives to come back and win. Paul, Mike, I think we knew the winning streak would probably come to an end at some point, and I think 35-31 against the Bills, you can live with that. But when you see how it played out in the game, it hurts a little more, I think. What are you guys feeling about that?
It does in retrospect. I think in the moment, I was never too confident. Even when it was 21-0, you know what Josh Allen and that offense are capable of. And as you said, the 5 straight scoring drives, Patriots defense couldn't figure out a way to slow them down, couldn't figure out a way to make a play, to force a turnover. And that's what happens. You get into a shootout, the offense goes cold, and you have your result.
I will confirm that Mike was not overly confident at 21-0, and to the point where I was doing what I normally do, Alex, and I was kind of making fun of Mike and Evan for being so nervous. I didn't think the game was over. I didn't necessarily count Buffalo out, but I was nowhere near as concerned about a comeback as they were. Ultimately, they were right. And I know we can look at the 5 straight touchdown drives, but I'm really a little bit more disappointed in the offense. I didn't think Drake May looked anywhere near as settled in the second half as we've seen him over the balance of the season. So this was a disappointing collapse.
You bring up a good point about being more disappointed with the offense, and I want to now pose the same question to Deuce. You're up 21-0, division on the line, and then it's just crickets.
When we talked at halftime of the game, you just said, the Patriots offense is moving the ball so well. Drake looks comfortable. There isn't a lot of pressure that you just figured they'd be able to mount enough scores to just stay ahead of the inevitable comeback that Josh Allen and company tried to make, but they went completely cold.
We obviously all have a lot of respect for that Bills offense. So I thought there was a chance that Buffalo could bounce back and make a run at it and get to the 30s or whatever in desperation mode. But I figured the Patriots would keep scoring enough to keep them at bay, and that didn't happen.
You mentioned you're without 2 of your probably 3 best defensive players, but depth in that front 7, it's something we've kind of discussed. Did it kind of finally present itself as a huge issue against a team like the Bills?
Yeah, even when they've had some of these injuries, they generally played together, and that was a big key for me with the great start of the run defense this year. And, we've seen that kind of slowly fall by the wayside, coincides a little bit with Milton Williams going out. But overall, they didn't have anybody to make a play.
They really had a hard time. 3rd and short was automatic. 3rd and long in this game was pretty comfortable for Josh Allen, too, certainly, during the course of those 5 straight touchdown drives. Josh Allen's an animal in the red zone. He's a hard guy. You got to certainly respect his ability to run or throw down there. Sometimes you got to give the other team some credit. I think this is one of those cases where Buffalo's offense really took it to another level, and the Patriots couldn't keep up.
I don't know exactly if there was a moment, Paul, where you felt like it turned for Drake. It honestly just felt around halftime. You came out, you had a 3-and-out right out of the gate, and that kind of set the tone for the whole rest of the half.
So the passing game itself, I didn't think looked great at all during the game. More of the production came with the ground game, with Stevenson and Henderson, and we should talk about those guys too. And Drake himself in the red zone, Josh McDaniels dialing up some, listening to Mike Dussault
Thank you.
and
That's
Paul
what I'm
Perillo
talking
on
about.
Patriots Unfiltered, talking about
Thanks
using...
for the support, guys.
Yeah, talking about using Drake's legs a little bit in the red zone. I think that really helped early on in the game, but I thought he looked unsettled as a passer. I don't know what it was, but he didn't look as decisive with the way we've seen him throughout the balance of the season in this game, and especially in the second half.
Silver linings, though. The running game. Probably their best rushing game of the year. Ramondre was able to get going. I think Travion Henderson finally showed a lot of that explosiveness that we were advertised when he was coming out of the draft. Do you think he's maybe finding his stride now in the NFL with experience, or did they scheme something up for him?
Yeah, no, I do think, the second one was kind of a broken play a little bit, but that doesn't mean you don't get credit for it.
That's give him all the credit.
Right, that's what this player can bring to the table. You break a play on him, you over-pursue, he gets one little lane and he's gone.
31 points is enough to win a game. So as much as I'm sort of questioning where did the offense go in the second half, you're not going to lose a lot of games scoring 31 points. So if they can continue to get that kind of production from Ramondre Stevenson, who I also want to add because I thought he ran very well in this game, and as a receiver made some big plays as a receiver as well, and his blocking as usual was outstanding. So that 1-2 punch back there is something that I think that they can build off of down the stretch when these games, the weather's going to become a factor.
Yep.
It's good to be able to run the ball and play some power football.
Especially with Ramondre healthy again. Yeah, I'd love to see that 1-2 punch. Special teams, though, rough game. Best return by the Patriots was wiped out by a penalty. And then in kickoff coverage, they handled the Bills' great field position on a silver platter time and time again. Am I overstating how much that impacted the game?
Allowing too much field position gave the Bills all the boost that they needed. You need every inch against an MVP caliber player like Josh Allen.
3 kickoff returns they allow Ray Davis to get to midfield or better.
We just saw Josh Allen. We're going to get Lamar next week. Do you think they let off the gas in the second half, or were they just gassed?
This is a little bit of a trend for this Patriots team that they haven't been at their best in the second half. Now, sometimes they haven't really needed to because they've had a big lead. They've had those big explosive plays that have padded the score a little bit. But at the same time, when you look at the splits, they're getting outscored in the fourth quarter. You're not seeing Drake's best stuff. And let's face it, this game against Buffalo was a perfect example of what playoff games are like.
Buffalo is 4-0 in games where they've allowed 31 or more points. That's an amazing stat for Josh Allen and what that offense has been able to accomplish. And, you sort of look at the way the game unfolds a little bit, and they're able to make the plays when, at key junctures. It wasn't just the Patriots handing it to them. It wasn't a turnover-filled second half. The one turnover really was a punt. It was probably better than
a punt.
Probably better than a punt. So it's not like you gave them, easy defensive scores. You're talking about not being able to play 60 minutes, Alex? This is the one team that you've played against that's capable of making you pay for not playing 60 minutes.
Still to come on Patriots Unfiltered on TV. From the reigning MVP to a former MVP, what the Patriots have to do to corral Lamar Jackson and tame the Ravens. Trash Talk analyzes the Patriots defense and just how good it is. Fred Kirsch on the lessons you can learn in a loss. And I'll go one-on-one with Patriots kicker Andy Borregales.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports concerts and theater tickets, 0 fees. Fans deserve better. Visit sitickets.com today.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
What's up, everybody? It's Evan Lazar. It's the Unfiltered Film Room. Patriots looking to bounce back on Sunday night against the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to talk about this Ravens run game. That's what you're going to face. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and a great Ravens rushing attack. But I want to talk a little bit about the optionality of what Baltimore does in their run game. So a lot of their gun runs in particular have all sorts of options for this guy right here, number 8, the 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. So up here at the top of the screen, they have this little RPO going on with the screen side out here. They also have a read in the box that Lamar is reading, the unblocked end right there. And their entire run game is all about getting favorable numbers for the offense. So right here, by occupying the backside with these routes up top and the threat of Lamar possibly running, you now have numbers in the box here with the blockers and with the running back. So they're going to run this pin pull action. They're going to pull 2 players here on the line of scrimmage on this sweep play as he pitches this off to Mitchell. He makes one guy miss, and he's out. And he just explosive run down the sideline here for Baltimore's rushing attack. So the Patriots' run defense has to be ready on Sunday. There's going to be a physical game, as it always is, with the Ravens. And they got to worry about not just Lamar Jackson running it, but those two running backs as well. I'm Evan Lazar.
It's been a roller coaster of a season for the Baltimore Ravens, coming off a 1-5 start, but that roller coaster is climbing back up just in time to host the Patriots in prime time in Baltimore. Paul, Mike, they are coming off a shutout win over the Bengals, something the Patriots couldn't do against the Bengals' backup, never mind Joe Burrow and all his weapons. So let's start there with the defense. I mean, the Ravens, what can they do well, and what can the Patriots take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're finding their stride a little bit, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, is a great player. Some new pieces on the edge for them. But I just think this Ravens team is hanging by a thread, and they're an experienced team. They're a veteran team, and I think the Patriots have to be ready for an absolute war.
I'd expect a steady diet of Derrick Henry, and I know that makes Deuce happy because Deuce.
Well, not this week.
Deuce is very impressed with Derrick Henry in person. So he's a guy, 11 carries for 100 yards, against the Bengals. I would expect the Ravens to lean on him.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, Lamar Jackson seems to be hurt. They're not using him on the ground as much. So Derrick Henry can do it all. What needs to improve from last week to this week to contain that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I still, think Lamar Jackson doesn't quite look like he has the same burst. I mean, he's had leg injuries, so you can see that catching up with him a little bit. But at the same time, he's been back for, going on a couple months now, so he's getting back into mode. Zay Flowers, the connection that he has with him, I mean, he's got 70 receptions. He's far and away their leading receiver, dynamic player, threat down the field, somebody the Patriots have to be concerned with. But when Paul talks about Derrick Henry, talks about the tight ends as well, with Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, two areas, again, that have given the Patriots problems all year long. So you look at stopping the run, covering tight ends. It's another formula the Patriots are going to have to figure out this week.
Yeah, because you like sort of the idea of maybe Marcus Jones and Zay Flowers, kind of a pretty competitive slot matchup, but the tight ends have just been an issue every game. And now you have Andrews and Likely to deal with. I would expect Lamar Jackson to look at those guys. And I'd also expect the Ravens' best. Like I said, I kind of thought they were teetering. Sometimes those veteran teams just go the other way when they realize it's not going to happen. I think you'll get the Ravens' best, and they've really struggled at home this year. They need a home win here to close out their home slate. But this is going to be a tall task.
Yeah, you got to get the passing game back involved, right? I think that's one of the biggest strengths of this team, and Buffalo was really able to take it away entirely. How can they make sure that doesn't happen again against the Ravens?
Coming out with a good plan again, getting those first couple scores. We talked about adjusting the plans in the red zone, making sure you get touchdowns. And you just hope the lesson from last week with the Bills is that this time of year, no lead is safe. You've got to score early. You've got to score late. You cannot have a lull, or as Mike Variable likes to say, you can't take a nap, especially in the second half.
Yeah, and, like I said, you have to expect a really desperate Ravens team that can't really afford any more slip-ups.
I am now joined in the studio by Patriots kicker Andres Borregales. Did I do that okay?
Yeah, that was good. That was
Andy,
good. That was a good
welcome. Now, I heard an interview you did after going home to Miami for the bye week, and you said you kind of missed the cold up here. Now you're back. It's gotten a little colder since you said that. So are you standing by these comments?
I've slowly started getting used to it being colder now, so I really don't mind it. Plus, having two dogs that love being outside that don't want to come in, unlike the other two. Definitely, helps that narrative too, but it's awesome.
I love that you and your wife have kind of become the faces of the Patriots initiative led by Dr. Dana Kraft. Your wife, Steph, famously adopted a dog without you knowing during our adoption event at training camp. Yeah. So little Brooke, how is she adjusting to the Borregales pack?
She's not so little Brooke now. She's about 50 pounds now, which is insane to even say. But I mean, she's awesome. Steph wants another dog. 4 dogs is a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not, but it is.
I love that you and Steph have really found yourselves community up here, but aside from football and through your church.
We got involved with the church, with the youth ministry as well, because we just because of the platform that I have, I want to give back. A lot of those kids, or a lot of them are Brazilian, and come from, just a lot of problems, you know, in their families and stuff. And, you know, I just want to be there for them and just know that, you know, they have someone to lean onto, and especially like with Steph as well. Like just lean on both of us.
It's really cool how you've kind of followed your brother's path with kicking. You both kicked at Miami. And then now you're kind of in uncharted territory, forging your own path here for the first time, but just looking back on growing up with your brother, how much influence did he have and how did he help you get to this point?
I mean, that's the one, you know, person that I look up to the most, you know, just because we're in the same profession, you know, pretty much same position as well. And again, he's my brother.
So let's talk about kicking a little. The big question was, how are you going to do in the cold, Miami boy? And you have a few of those games under your belt, even a snow game last week.
That was fun.
How was it?
You know, the first snow game, I mean, I went out there to warm up, and I couldn't really open my eyes much because the snow just kept hitting my eyes, but I was having fun. You know, it wasn't the result we wanted, but, you know, you just got to go back and, you know, just get back to it. But going back to like the cold, you know, narrative that I guess I had, I kind of just took it with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, that's not something I can control. So it's not something I should dwell on, and I think that's what I've been doing to this point.
For sure. Well, we hope you keep it rolling in Baltimore. You have a great story. We wish you continued success, especially on Sunday. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we will be back with more Patriots Unfiltered on TV after the break.
Patriots Unfiltered on TV is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots, and by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. Same seats, better prices. Fans deserve better.
You're watching Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose. I either win or I learn." It's good advice, especially in the topsy-turvy NFL. So what lessons came out of the Patriots surrendering a 21-0 lead last Sunday in a 35-31 loss? First and foremost for me is another oldie but goodie adage: you win games in the trenches. Against the Bills, the Patriots' defensive front seven lost the battle. The trend of trouble against the run of late was front and center in the second half. Time and again, the Bills ran right up the middle with little resistance. Chalk it up to not having Milton Williams and the master of run fits, Robert Spillane, but it's a problem that needs to be figured out in a hurry. Derrick Henry's up next. We also learned that Drake May is human. The Bills did a good job dropping into coverage, and despite excellent pass protection by the Patriots' offensive line, too often it seemed he had few options to throw to. You've heard of blitz beaters, you know, plays that teams use to overcome pressure. Well, the Patriots need some coverage beaters. If that means May taking off, so be it. There's plenty more lessons to be learned and 3 more regular season games to apply the learnings. Let's see what type of students these 2025 Patriots are down the stretch.
Defense wins championships seems to have been the mantra of football since the first ever kickoff. But Josh Allen and the Bills ran over and through a Pats defense that was missing a few good men. In this week's Trash Talk, Paul and Mike debate if the Patriots defense, when healthy, will be good enough for the postseason.
All right, Paul, we've seen Josh Allen lay waste to a Patriots defense before, and yes, there were some injuries, but the big thing to me is if healthy, and I just don't know if this Patriots defense can get healthy enough. Now, Milton Williams seems like he's going to be back in a couple weeks against the Jets, have a chance to get those last 2 games that are absolutely vital as Patriots team getting the AFC East title, but Robert Spillane didn't play at all against the Bills. We don't know what his status is. Harold Landry continues to miss practices as well. I believe this defense might be good enough if they could get healthy. I just don't know if they can get healthy, Paul.
So I think they can get healthy. You know, Spillane, I think, is pretty close. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been dressed in the game. And, you know, obviously he wasn't used. He was, you know, break glass in case of emergency type situation. So I think they can get healthy. And I also think whether they're healthy or not, they're good enough, provided that Drake May continues to play at the level that we've seen him play for the balance of the season. If they're going to go offensively into a funk the way they did in the second half, then I don't care what your defense is. You're not good enough to, you know, survive and advance in the postseason.
The red zone defense, I mean, it's been bad all year long. I mean, I would say it peaked, but I guess whatever the opposite, bottomed out against the Bills, you know, not being able to get any stops in the red zone there when it mattered. You've also seen their third down defense kind of slowly trickling down. Some of these key metrics that we look at with this defense, you're starting to face teams like Baltimore coming up this weekend. Very good quarterback, very good running back, some weapons around them. I just wonder, why now? How can they change this? How can they reverse these trends that have been happening all season long, no matter who's been healthy or not?
Yeah, I don't have a great answer for that red zone thing because the red zone defense has been a problem all season. I've seen a lot worse defenses than the way the Patriots have played this year have success in the postseason. The whole defense wins championship thing, I'm not necessarily sure I buy into that fully in this day and age. I think, the Eagles last year lit up a really good defense in Kansas City, en route to a Super Bowl. So sometimes offense wins too, Mike.
Yeah. All right, well, big challenge for this Patriots defense against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens this weekend. How do we think they'll do? Stay tuned for predictions after the break.
Now back to Patriots Unfiltered on TV.
The NFL and the network powers that be have flexed Patriots Ravens into primetime on Sunday night. And despite their records, the Patriots are 2.5-point underdogs on the road in Baltimore. The over-under is 48.5.
I don't feel good about this one, guys. I think this is going to be a little bit of a tough stretch for the Patriots. I think the Ravens are the team that needs this more. They're surging a little bit more. Patriots are banged up. I'm not sure how healthy they're going to get in the next week. But overall, I've got the Ravens winning this game 27-24. Patriots are going to have to win their last two.
Wow.
What worries me the most is the desperation factor for the Ravens at home. I think the Patriots are a better team than Baltimore right now, quite frankly. And it doesn't have really anything to do with the Patriots slipping up in the second half against Buffalo as much. For my prediction of I'm going to go 27-23, so it was very close. I have Baltimore winning because of the fact this is the NFL and they need it more. And they're at home, and when that happens, generally the more desperate team wins.
Fair enough. You guys may have swayed me logically, but I'm going to go with what my heart wants to do. Patriots 24, Ravens 17. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be ugly, actually very ugly, but I'm hopeful the Patriots come out on top. We'll see. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered on TV. As always, you can catch the three of us on Patriots Unfiltered on Patriots.com every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from noon to 2 p.m. For Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault, I'm Alex Francisco. We'll see you next week.